Hey everybody, JennaK here. So today I want to look at perfectionism. So, are you a perfectionist? Do you know somebody who might be? I'm going to help you decide. So, we're going to look at the definition. We're going to ask some questions to help you reel yourself in as a perfectionist or maybe identify the traits in someone else. We'll look at why perfectionist traits typically develop. And I'll offer some suggestions about how to overcome those tendencies, especially if they're problems in your life. So, a little bit about me. I'm a former therapist. I have a degree in psychology, and I'm working on my own struggles in life. I am going to tell my story, and I've broken myself out into itty bitty little parts. So, I hope you'll use my example to work through maybe some of your own. So, here we go. So, healthy perfectionism is when you use being detail oriented or logic to self motivate you. It assists with overcoming adversity and achieving success. Why this is making me nervous. Being on camera is a little uncomfortable for me, so this is pushing me out of my comfort zone. I'm going to try to do this in one take because otherwise I'll just take it over and over and over. Perfectionism traits. So there's also a time where perfectionist traits develop into unhealthy traits. It's toxic. Being perfect is impossible. It's illogical. We set ourselves up for failure. So, unhealthy perfectionism may also be accompanied by other mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, um, eating disorders, and any other mental health or physical health condition. So there's things that happen, in the environment. It can be based on, childhood experiences. It can be PTSD traits. There are many reasons that lead us down the path of perfectionism. It's oftentimes to gain self validation, to gain self worth, or the validation of others around us. So, a perfectionist is someone who refuses to accept anything less than perfect and may sacrifice their own health and well being in the pursuit of perfection. Does that sound familiar? Kind of sounds like an empath in some ways. However, it goes well beyond that. So, here are the signs and the questions to ask yourself to determine if you are going above and beyond striving for excellence. So, number one, ask yourself, are you ready? Do you have extremely high standards and goals for whatever you do? Do your goals stress you out and you lose sleep and forget to take care of yourself because you're so focused on achieving your goals? I'll give you a minute. Okay, number two, do you accept that you sometimes make mistakes? When you see a mistake that you made or someone else has made, do you think you need to tackle it right now? And I say now, capital NOW, right now. Does just knowing that a mistake has been made that hasn't been fixed stress you out? Number three, do you have an all or nothing mindset? Do you either do something well or avoid doing it at all? Do you see anything less than perfect as a disaster? Number four, are you highly self critical about almost everything that you do? Do you feel misunderstood by people around you because you do things in such a particular way? Number five and six, do you feel overwhelmed and distressed when you don't achieve your goals or meet your standards? Do you dissect every little detail of what you could have, should have, wish you would have done in the accomplishment of your goal? Number seven, are you extremely ambitious? I'm talking over the top ambitious. It's okay to be competitive. It's okay to have goals, But are you so ambitious that people just can't keep up? It's overwhelming to folks. Are you always ready to take on something else, even if you've hit your own goal? Do you always want to raise that bar just a little bit higher? Now, as a perfectionist, we already know you've already set that bar so high, but you're always willing to go above and beyond that bar if you've already been able to reach it. Is it ever quite good enough? Number 8, do you put off starting something if you don't think you can finish it, or if you don't feel ready to take on the task up to your standards? Do you want to be the master of it? Do you want to know all the ins and outs before you take it on so you don't fail at it? Number 9, do you see mistakes other people don't see in yourself and in others? Perfectionists tend to see all the details. They see everything for what it is and for what it is not. And then number 10, do you sacrifice sleep, rest, and personal time to be able to accomplish your goals? Do you research, plot, plan, and use a magnifying glass with everything that you do overall? So, with all those 10 questions, do any of those traits sound familiar to you? Do they sound like you? Do you see those traits in someone else you know? So if you answered yes, or if you can see those in others, they might be a perfectionist. So a little bit about me and how this applies to me in my period of self-reflection. So I am a former neurotic perfectionist. I am neurotic above and beyond, not healthy. It's encroached in the part of my life where it's all consuming. So I answered all 10 questions with a resounding yes, an absolute 100% yes. So I know that in me. I'm self aware and I'm working on myself. So sometimes, even though I'm working on myself, I still catch myself striving for perfection. That's hard to break. Nothing will ever be to a place where I can just be content with it. I'm always going to be striving and working on something, even if it's something new. I'm going to reach the capacity in one area, but then I'm going to move on to a different something else. So that's why I even took on, learning how to make videos. And you can see I still have a long way to go. This lighting, this editing, and I am not good at this. Technology is not my friend. But I wanted to learn how to do it. It was a goal that I had wanted to accomplish. It was the next thing on my to-do list. It was something to keep my mind occupied and kind of challenge me in some ways. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm to the point where I just want to be okay with it. Because, I can look at this 1,001 times and have to take it 1,002 times to make it perfect. The only one who knows it isn't absolutely perfect is me, except for when I'm stumbling over my words and have weird pauses and stuff, or when I look anxious. Then But for the most part, it's been a testament to my confidence. It's a testament to me working hard to kind of let go and not be so rigid. So I'm annoyingly meticulous when I start something. Annoyingly meticulous. I never miss a deadline if there is one. Never, ever, never, ever. I'll use an example. In college, I was known to argue if I didn't get 100% on an exam because I had studied, I worked so hard, I would find a way. And most of the time I was right. Of course I was right. I'm a perfectionist. But, I always wanted to be the best, prove my worth, prove my validity, make myself the best at whatever I could do. I set that bar high, so I was going to hit it if I was able to hit it. So I annoy most people around me because not everything needs to be perfect. Not everything needs to be done right now. NOW, capital NOW. And it doesn't always have to be my way. I love video games, for example, my real life example. I am so concerned when I start a new game that I don't want to ruin everyone else's experience because I'm not good. I'm really not good. I want to know the mechanics behind it. And you can't always do that without just jumping right in and playing. There's strategy. I'm playing Modern Warfare 3 and it is hard. Even though they're old maps for everybody else, they're new maps for me. So this is new. I play controller because mouse and keyboard, no, 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 too many buttons, too many things I'd have to learn. I was scared to pick up the Xbox controller at first because I didn't know what the buttons did and I didn't know how to aim, and nobody taught me. I just kind of had to learn my own way. But it was okay. I'm getting better every day. I'm still really, really bad. I don't like to play with the cheaters and the hackers, and I don't like it that nobody talks to each other anymore because that's what, made it fun. And I've been known to be self-critical there. And it's always when I say bad words, it's reflected at me. I'm just afraid I'm going to get banned. So I've left my headset off and I don't play that way. But I also don't start new games. I'm kind of a creature of habit. I find something that I like. I'm struggling right now because I'm so bad at the game and the hackers and the cheaters don't make it any fun. So I'm trying to kind of jump out of my comfort zone, but I'm scared to start something new. So that's on me. So that's going to be my challenge, is to take on new things, even though I don't know all the logistics, even though I can't be perfect at it. And, even with professional athletes, people who train, they're professional. Professional speakers still stumble on their words. Professional athletes still have games that they don't win. So we're not all perfect all the time, and that's okay. And this is supposed to be games for fun. Video editing doesn't have to be perfect. It's me sending the message and being real. I hope. I hope that's the way it's coming across. So don't get me wrong, being a perfectionist has helped me in the short term in many ways. In college, it helped me get good grades. It helped me at work when I had a project. I was able to get promoted pretty quickly because I worked hard. I gained the trust of my staff because I was the first one in, last one out, and willing to do everything that they would do. And I really worked hard to try to make their lives easier. They can disagree. I was pretty rigid. I had expectations, but it served in the long run. We always were able to serve the most people in the best way in a program that was profitable. And we still took care of our clients with care and concern. So I'm proud of that. So overall, though, I annoyed most people in my circle. I didn't much care for myself, and I really didn't know myself. I let myself be absorbed as a workaholic to avoid dealing with some of the stuff that I didn't deal with in my younger life. So perfectionist traits, like I said, are defense mechanisms that serve a purpose in the moment. It reduces harm. It keeps us safe in times of stress or crises, but ultimately they can quickly turn into a bad behavior. So I'll be working on developing some healthy coping skills and sharing those on here because I got lists, and I've got ones that work for me, and I've got more that might work for you. It's no one size fits all. Sometimes you can change it up. Different things work for different people, but you can overcome perfectionism. And here's some ways. So, you know, most people, when they have a to-do list and what they want to accomplish, they've got like 2 or 3 things on their list. Perfectionists, and I'll use myself as an example, I will have a legal notepad, front and back, 3 pages of a strategy, a list of things that I want to accomplish, sometimes every day, to hit that achievable goal, to hit my standard, hit the way I want to see it happen. That's unrealistic. I've learned to kind of edit it down. So it doesn't have to be my way, and it doesn't have to be only me doing it. So I've learned that delegating and working as a team and asking for help is not a sign of weakness. So sometimes when you enlist the help of others, when you consult with others, they'll, number one, call you on your junk if they know and love you enough. They'll say, you're acting a little bit silly. Don't you think that's over the top? And I want you to give them permission to tell you that if you think that you're a perfectionist, because they will. And it can make you laugh. It'll kind of like refocus you. And then you can really sit back and go, yeah, maybe it was a little over the top. And then sometimes they'll bring a unique perspective. Now, the end goal, the end result of whatever you're working on might be the same. You might go about it in a different way, a more creative way. So, this can be a fun process too. It doesn't have to be scary letting go. So, a lot of times, as a byproduct, perfectionism leads to unhappiness within ourselves. We're super critical. Anything that we do that we perceive as a failure or isn't a success, we beat ourselves up. That's just the way it is. We're hypercritical, and then we feel remorse, regret, and shame even. So, in the pursuit of perfection, something has to give. This means sometimes we fail to take care of ourselves. We put ourselves second. We don't take care of our personal needs. My goodness, sleep, food, life balance. Who needs those things anyway, right? Well, everybody does. Healthy body, healthy mind. Something has to give. There's only so many hours in a day, there's so many days in a week, there's only so much time in a lifetime. You don't want to be known at the end of your days as the person who worked too much, the person who made a mistake in paragraph 3 of that paper they wrote 10 years ago. But you won't be remembered in your legacy as not doing the dishes one day on a Thursday 3 years ago because you spent time with your family. We want to spend time with the people that we love. We want to make memories. We want to be leaving behind the things that are important, how we make others feel. So, in hindsight, what we thought was keeping us safe, bringing positive attention to us, sometimes we turn into something negative. We don't want to run off the people in our lives that are important to us. Our family needs us. So we workaholics sometimes bring our work home with us because we're stressed out. And sometimes we put the expectations that we set on ourselves onto others inadvertently. Children that grow up with perfectionistic parents sometimes feel that they have to achieve the same way or have the same expectations put upon them, and that's just not fair. You know, we don't always tell them they have to, but sometimes they want to be just like us. They're little sponges. If we're successful, they want to be successful too. If we work hard, they tend to work hard too. If we don't work hard, they tend to take on those traits too. So we want to teach our kids wisely that life balance and self-care are important. So it's never too late to kind of change the direction that you're going in. And also your loved ones. You can be present at home, but your mind can be off on the 3-page legal pad of things you want to accomplish instead of being present in the moment. So it's important that you do stay grounded. So practicing mindfulness, taking a pause, being able to take good care of yourself. So how can the traits of a perfectionist be healthy and not neurotic? Don't be neurotic like I was. This means being excited about going to work. It's not stressful. It relieves the pressure and it keeps them fearing failure. Perfectionists don't like that thought of not being perfect. We don't like having flaws, but we're not perfect. That's just a silly notion. So it all starts with self reflection and awareness. Acknowledge your perfectionist tendencies and then weigh the advantages and the disadvantages of each. Some may serve a short term purpose, some may have transitioned to being unhealthy. Only you can answer those questions. So challenge the goals and standards and objectively identify if they're attainable and realistic. Attainable and realistic. And are they interfering with the other parts of your life? Is your life balanced? If it's unbalanced, then the question is no, they're not realistic and attainable. You want to take care of yourself, you want to take care of your family and the things that matter. Work is important, education is important, they serve a purpose, but in the long run, you need to be available, you need to take good care of yourself, or you're not going to be good for anybody else. So that's my little mini rant here. So Challenge yourself and your goals and make sure they align with your priorities. Make sure they align with your core values. Goals change over time based on your circumstance, based on your time of life, based on a lot of different factors. Your values are innate to you. Who do you want to be? What do you want to be remembered for? I always think about, what do you want on your tombstone? Do you want to be remembered as a hard worker? Or do you want to be remembered as a good family member, a good mother, a good father, a good sister, a good companion, a good friend, a good pet parent, whatever it is? It isn't defined by performance. And most of the time, it's not achieved by, your accomplishments. So leave a lasting legacy that matters. So, and the other way to look at this is practice self compassion. A lot of times we have compassion for others, we have empathy for others. Sometimes we have a cause that we're working toward, right? We find validation in the ability to serve a purpose, to see an accomplishment, to help others, save the world. So the hardest part is being kind to ourselves. Replace harsh self criticism with kind, logical, and understanding self talk. This takes a lot of practice. Every situation, whether it be good or bad, whether it be a success or failure, has a lesson and at least one good positive gain. Sometimes it's hard to find that positive gain, but it could always be worse. At least I'm not dot dot dot. You fill in the blanks. There's always something to be learned from it. You may not recognize it right now, but looking back at whatever situation that arises, there's always something that you'll learn from it. Maybe it's how to do it differently in the future. Maybe it's that you're still acting in a perfectionist way and you need to realign yourself and try to find, help and let go and really kind of start the process over again. It's no one size fits all. You'll figure out what works if you're a perfectionist, and you'll be able to suggest some of these things to the people in your life that are. Hey, let go of the past. This is hard. So let go of the past because you can't change it. You don't ever think the future because you're not there yet. Kind of live in the moment. Take a minute to look around. There's beauty around us. Take a look and see the things that are really important. Sometimes we forget to look at the sky. Sometimes we forget to really taste that cup of coffee or that cup of tea. Sometimes we forget to smile at our children or appreciate the beauty in the world. We're so caught up in the detail and the achievements that sometimes we miss out on the bigger picture. And then seek support. This is a big one. And I don't mean everybody has to go to therapy. Sometimes it helps. They might offer a different perspective. They might help you get to the core root of why maybe you just developed perfectionist traits. Maybe it was a defense mechanism. Maybe it was something that you grew up around. Maybe it was cultural. It could be for many reasons. Sometimes it's a byproduct of trauma. People with PTSD typically have some of these defense mechanisms that I'm maybe talking about. That's what it is for me. But sometimes a professional is necessary, and there's no shame in it. Every therapist even needs a therapist. So if you can't do that, or if you don't feel comfortable with that, find a friend, find somebody you trust in your family that's going to be non-judgmental. But you also want somebody that's going to call you out on your junk. If you're acting in a way that's not healthy, or you're being unreasonable, or you're pushing people away, or you're unbalanced in your life, you want somebody that's going to call you on that so you can redirect. Snap to, you guys will have a good laugh, and then you never know, maybe they'll have some good suggestions. So you're not in this alone. You don't have to bear the weight of the world on your own. If you do, oh my gosh, it's like having an elephant sitting on your chest. Let it go. Be free. How can you possibly enjoy your life? Life is short. I'm learning how to let go. So being a perfectionist is impossible. Nobody's perfect, right? The logical mind says nobody's perfect. However, overcoming perfectionism is possible. So try to be aware, self reflect, be patient, and celebrate your progress along the way. If you catch yourself slipping back into those old behaviors, refocus and try again. Nobody's perfect. So, everybody, follow along. I'll be telling my story. Please do hit the subscribe. Please do like. Please do comment. I love good comments. I love good suggestions. I would love good feedback. If you know how to fix this darn lighting, I would love some feedback. If the microphone isn't working, because I recorded this once before and the microphone wasn't working because technology's not my friend, I would love to hear. Share your story. I can't imagine that I'm the only one that's got these traits. I was a workaholic for a long, long time and I missed out on a whole lot of life. Everything's new to me. This is the first time in my life I haven't had a plan, and that scares me. But it's given me the time to really do some self-reflection and do some work on me, and I'm getting better every day. Sooner or later, I am going to leave my house. I'm getting closer. I'm not there yet, but I will get there. So take care, everybody. Hit that like and subscribe button and follow along. My story is unbelievable, and as I work through this process, it's making me stronger and stronger every day so I can share it.